They said this was going to be his coronation. Well, at the World Cup last night, it became his funeral. Lionel Messi walked into that stadium in New Jersey chasing a second star. 3 hours later, he walked off it a broken man, being held up by the same shoulders he carried for 2 decades. Argentina lost. Spain won. But that is not the story. The story is how it happened. Because what unfolded over those 120 minutes was not just a football match. It was the ugliest night this tournament has ever seen. And by the time Ferran Torres tapped in the winner in extra time, half of world football was screaming one word: rigged. Now, before anyone accuses me of writing another sour grapes take, understand this. I am not here to say Spain did not deserve to win. Lamine Yamal was electric. He looked like a boy who had waited his whole 18 years for this exact 90 minutes. He was direct, fearless, and untouchable on the right wing. The Spanish midfield strangled Argentina. Pedri ran the tempo like a metronome. Rodri sat on Messi's collar the entire first half. Spain, on the balance of play, were the better team. But football finals are not decided on the balance of play. They are decided on moments. And there were 3 moments last night that will be argued about for the next 50 years. Problem number 1. 23rd minute. Ferran Torres put the ball in the back of the net. Old Trafford of American stadiums went silent. Argentina fans held their breath. And then the assistant referee's flag went up. Offside. VAR reviewed it. Semi-automated offside technology drew that famous laser line across the pitch. Torres was ahead by, and I want you to sit with this number, 2.5 centimeters, not 2.5 yards, not 2.5 feet, 2.5 centimeters, the width of a human thumbnail. Now here is where it gets uncomfortable. Because that same technology gave England a goal against France in the semifinal that was measured at 3 centimeters the other way. Same tournament, same margin, 2 completely different outcomes. Spanish fans exploded, so did their coach. And the Wikipedia page for the 2026 World Cup controversies quietly added a new paragraph before halftime. Problem number 2. 68th minute. Spain again. This time Mikel Merino headed one in from a corner. The stadium erupted. Ferran Torres wheeled off to celebrate. And then, out of nowhere, the referee's earpiece crackled. VAR check. Possible foul in the build-up. Now watch this replay carefully, because this is where the internet lost its mind. Leandro Paredes made contact with Breel Embolo in the box. Contact, not a foul. Every referee in the Premier League last season would have waved that on. Every referee in La Liga would have waved that on. Slavko Vincic, the Slovenian referee handpicked by FIFA for this final, a man whose name was already trending for the wrong reasons before kickoff, walked over to the monitor. He looked at the screen for exactly 11 seconds, and he chalked off the goal. 2 Spanish goals disallowed in one match, in a World Cup final, and we still had extra time to go. Problem number 3. 98th minute. And now the anger boils over on the Argentina bench. Because, if you have been watching this tournament, you know exactly what Argentina had been getting away with. Paredes on Embolo again. A studs-up challenge that in any other match this year gets a straight red. Vincic pulls out yellow. VAR does not call him to the monitor. No review, nothing. Paredes stays on the pitch. And this is the moment Scaloni turns to his bench and says the words the cameras caught, but the broadcast never translated. He said, "They are letting us hang ourselves." He knew. He saw the balance had shifted. He knew what was coming. And 35 minutes later, it came. Extra time, second half, 117th minute. Yamal danced past Tagliafico for the 9th time. He cut the ball back to the penalty spot. And Ferran Torres, the same Ferran Torres whose first 2 goals had been ripped away from him by the same technology that had just handed Argentina a lifeline all match long, side-footed it into the bottom corner. The stadium detonated. Yamal collapsed to his knees. Messi did not move. He stood, hands on hips, in the center circle, frozen, because he knew. Everyone in that stadium knew. That was it. That was the last one. And then came the moment that broke the internet. The final whistle. Messi did not run to the referee. He did not scream at the fourth official. He did not chase after Vincic. He just walked, slowly, towards the Argentine end of the stadium. And the fans, 30,000 of them who had flown from Buenos Aires and Rosario and Cordoba, they did not chant. They did not boo. They stood, and they applauded. And Messi, 39 years old, 4 World Cups deep, holder of every individual trophy this sport has ever invented, put his hands over his face. And he cried, not the polite tears of a man who lost a football match, the heaving, shoulders shaking, cannot breathe crying of a man who just realized his entire life's work had just ended, in a hallway that leads to a plane back home, with no trophy. But the worst part, and this is the part the highlights reels will not show you, came 40 minutes later in the press conference. Lionel Scaloni sat down. He took a sip of water. He looked at the first journalist. And before the man could even finish his question, Scaloni's voice cracked. He said, "It hurts the soul. I do not know if I have the strength to keep doing this." And he walked out. The Argentine Football Federation now has a coach who publicly hinted at resignation less than 1 hour after losing a World Cup final, and a captain who did not answer a single question about his international future. Not one. When Fox asked him directly if that was his last game for Argentina, Messi looked at the reporter, opened his mouth, closed it again, and walked past the camera. That silence tells you everything you need to know. Meanwhile, on the other side of the tunnel, a different scene was playing out. Lamine Yamal, 18 years old, was holding his 3-year-old half-brother Keane on his shoulders. Keane was wearing the World Cup medal. Messi was watching it happen from 12 meters away, and someone in the production truck cut to the split screen. Because 13 years ago, in a Barcelona charity shoot, a 20-something Messi held a baby version of Lamine Yamal in a bathtub of water. That photo went viral again yesterday. And now, the same baby was celebrating a World Cup by beating him. Football does not write scripts like this. Football does not need to, because reality already did. So where does this leave us? FIFA has a public relations catastrophe. 2 disallowed goals in a final where every centimeter mattered. A Slovenian referee whose past includes an arrest at a brothel operation, a fact every single Argentine newspaper is leading with this morning. A coach in tears, hinting at walking away. A captain who cannot even bring himself to say the word retirement out loud. And a viral video of a 3-year-old wearing a medal that belongs to the greatest player who ever lived. This is not a World Cup final aftermath. This is a full-blown institutional crisis for the sport, and Gianni Infantino has not made a single public statement in the 18 hours since the whistle blew. Which brings me to the 2 questions I need you to answer down in the comments. First question: if both of those Spanish goals had been given, and let's be honest, on any other night, in any other match, they probably would have been. Does Spain still deserve this trophy? Or did the officiating actually protect Argentina for 117 minutes before finally giving Spain the one they could not chalk off? Second question: was that Messi's last ever game in an Argentina shirt? Because he did not say no. He did not say yes. He just cried. And in a career built on speaking through his feet instead of his mouth, That silence might be the loudest answer he has ever given. Drop your take in the comments. Let me know down below.